exotic cuisines, high fashion, top celebrities, glamorous events, and much more. Lunchtime will never be the same again, and that's a promise you can take to the bank. Crunch, the hottest lunchtime entertainment show on African television. Weekdays from 12 to 2 p.m. Exclusive to Nigeria. Extremely Nigerian.
To the rest of Africa, this is Nigeria and this is Nigeria in Africa. Africa happens to be the cradle of civilization, and tonight we are here for AMAA, African Movie Academy Awards, a book launch put together by AMAAs. It's actually called From Dream to Reality, the AMAA Legacy. What are the legacies that has been put together by AMAA? AMAA started as a dream and vision. Today it's become a reality, from a reality to a legacy that is emulated by the continent of Africa at large. African Movie Academy Awards is here to stay, and so day in, day out, they're churning out different initiatives just to enable the world reckon with the movie industry in Africa. My name is Wofai. I'm here on the red carpet. I'm going to be talking with lots of celebrities, attendees, invited guests, special guests that are going to be present at this event. Once again, keep it real on your own and trusted name like Jesus. Let the show begin. Hollywood happens to be the third largest film industry in the world, and AMAA Awards has actually come a long way. They're making giant strides. They've placed Nollywood on the global map. For you to be an AMAA nominee, of course you know what that means, that they're coming up with different initiatives. A few weeks back they had a launch for AMAA Awards where different officials from top-notch organizations actually donated huge sums of money, and tonight they're actually going to be launching a book in relation to the award. It's actually a step in the right direction, away from the norm. But I'm here on the red carpet. I have no idea whatsoever of what's going down, but I know I'm going to be talking with lots of people right here on the red carpet. And we have someone who is nicely dressed. Nice to have you here.
Oh, thank you, thank you. I'm a bit flustered by all of this attention, but I'm enjoying it.
Nice, that's the paparazzi, you know, in front of the cameras. So what's your name?
Yeah, my name is Tunji Lardner, and the easiest way to describe myself as a friend of the family.
You're here for the launch of the book From Dream to Reality. Yeah, this is put together for African Movie Academy Awards. They've come a long way, 10 years in existence, still waxing strong, standards highly maintained. What would you say about AMAA? I wanted to comment.
Well, the thing is, I always like to make a distinction between AMAA and Nollywood. Nollywood is a phenomenal, ingenious creation of the Nigerian creative energy that is now global. AMAA attempts to encapsulate Nollywood within the African context of it. So in a lot of ways, AMAA is a logical extension of Nollywood, because without a Nollywood, you couldn't have had an AMAA. And because you had a Nollywood, you've encouraged burgeoning film industry and growth in other countries, right? So every little region now has its own different version of Nollywood, but all of them come under the umbrella of AMAA. So it is a continent-wide brand, right? It's not different from Nollywood, but I think it's much bigger than Nollywood.
Beautiful. AMAA, of course, AMAA is definitely much bigger than Nollywood. But when you're talking about the third largest film industry, in terms of this, yeah, the spread, the scope, and all of that, the publicity. But when you're talking about Nollywood happens to be the third largest film industry in the world. You wouldn't say Gollywood, which is Ghana, or you wouldn't say Kennywood, which is Kenya. You'd say Nollywood because it's Nigeria. So when you talk about
expression of African film, but you also understand that before then you had Fespaco, you had a whole tradition of movie making all across West Africa, especially in Senegal, right? And the Francophonies also had their own. So it's just a logical extension. But I think what Nollywood has done is to be able to encapsulate that and put a business plan, maybe not well thought out in the initial stages, but now you have Nollywood as a business. And it's phenomenal, it's everywhere, it's continent, it expresses the voices of Africa and the African diaspora.
Okay, more or less, don't you think AMAA is like one of the other regular movie awards? Because we also have African Magic Viewers' Choice Awards, which has come to stay in Nigeria and in Africa. That has received international acclaim. And of course, AMAA has received international. But I don't think AMAA is competing with any other award. But for you, what's most outstanding about AMAA?
But I think there are two things that are different from the Viewer's Choice Award. It's a Viewer's Choice. That's a more public thing. It's television, basically. It's about people viewing, right? AMAA is slightly more scientific and much more, I want to use the word professional, but professional in the sense that you do have a very, very powerful, very legitimate board that overviews, that oversees the nomination. So it's two different levels of professional judgment and competence. One is public, which is fine and valid, but in terms of the statecraft itself, you have AMAA, you have people who look at these movies, and it's on the basis of these movies that decisions are made for the awardees. So I think there are two different things, right? In AMAA, you have a standardized continent-wide platform in which all the creative energy of African movie filmmaking is adjudged. So it's a totally different thing, two different levels. One is viewers, yes, it's a much more populist, no less valid to be sure. But in terms of the critical critique of movie making, I think AMAA has established that niche.
Tonight, I want to welcome you to the coffee table book reveal. I think for a long time, people do not actually realize what the AMAA is, and that the AMAA is just one of the initiatives of the Africa Film Academy. The Africa Film Academy is actually an initiative of the Osigwe Anyam Osigwe Foundation. AMAA is just one element of what we do. Over the last 10 years, we have trained 5,000 young people across the continent in filmmaking.
If every Nigerian made an effort to leave their comfort zone, leave your comfort zone and step aside, go to the next town, travel from the north to the south of Nigeria, go and find out what Nigeria has to offer. I have seen so much. I'm on my BlackBerry sending emails to my children, showing them photographs I'm taking. Blue rivers, caves, unending caves, waterfalls. You go to spring. If you go to Ekiti State, which is in the southwest, you have a spring. Half of it is hot, the other part is cold. There's so many beautiful tourism sites in Nigeria, and you only have to go yourself to see and to believe. And that is what I've been doing this past 9 months, and it's been very much worth my while. And so I'd like to encourage every Nigerian here to please make an effort to visit other parts of Nigeria. And that is what we call domestic tourism. Mr. Danny Glover, I'm sure by now you ought to be a chief, so I'm going to address you as chief. One of the very important messages that we have is reaching out and having a wake-up call to Nigerians and Africans in diaspora. That's what you are. You are a brother out here there coming back home. And what I do, we've reached out to those in England, those in America. We're trying to work with them to see how we can encourage Africans in diaspora, Caribbeans in diaspora, Americans in diaspora to come back home, have a reason to come and touch down at the base home and take something away. So I think on one of these trips, I'd like to invite you to tour some parts of Nigeria.
The AMAA 10 coffee table book presentation, it's a step in the right direction, but for me, I just keep wondering, AMAA keeps churning out different initiatives by the day, and most times I'm like, what is AMAA really doing? What is AMAA really about? But now it's obvious that AMAA is not just about the Academy Awards, it's about a whole lot of stuff entangled in one. Peace, I am Osigwe is right here. You know,
hi, how are you?
I'm beautiful.
Thank you. Well,
it's glaring and obvious that African Movie Academy Awards is not just about the awards itself. It's a conglomeration of different facets of Nigerian entertainment. I'd like to get your opinion. I want to hear from the horse's mouth.
Well, that's one of the reasons we put together the coffee table book, because we want people to realize that we don't have a static this thing. We have the Africa Cinema Business Roundtable, We have Film in a Box, which is a training scheme. We have the Africa One concerts, which we take music all across Africa as we do our nomination. And I think people needed to know that we're not just about the awards, that there is a substance to what we're trying to do.
Beautiful. AMAA has come a long way. AMAA has waxed strong for the past 10 years and they're still waxing strong. It's not just about Nollywood. It celebrates the African continent and filmmaking.
It's about Nollywood. It's all about Africa.
Now, the challenges you must have had in organizing AMAA have never weighed you down. A lot of persons have actually stood up to support you, support the initiative AMAA Awards. AMAA is going to leaps and bounds. For you, what is most outstanding about AMAA? You're not trying to be the BAFTAs, you're not trying to be the Oscars, you're not trying to be any other awards, you're just in a class of your own, but what's most outstanding about you?
Well, I think the most important thing AMAA does is celebrate African filmmakers, and that's what we're pushing for, and we're celebrating it in a way that we know how to do so. And we're not aspiring to be anything else but just the AMAs. And I say that all the time because I do not need verification from any other reward system to verify what AMAA stands for. AMAA grew out of a need to bring a networking situation together for Africa, and that's what we're doing right now.
Like I said, Nollywood is growing in leaps and bounds, and you happen to be one of the frontiers for Nollywood. You've been in Nollywood for as long as its inception, so to speak. But now, we don't really get to see you in as many movies as we used to see you in time past, so we don't really know what's been happening to you. We don't know what 2014 holds for you, but we'd like to hear from you.
Okay, actually, I've been more into producing and directing, and because some of us don't want to be in every movie, we try to select our movies in terms of acting, and moreover, because producing takes more of your time, because if you're producing, you start the production and you end the production. So most times you don't have really time to feature in several movies. So you select the movies you act in, you make out your time for.
So would I be wrong to say more or less you're still acting in front of the cameras, but you're very particular about the kind of movies you do?
Yeah, very particular about the kind of movies I do, the story, the people behind it. You can get a good story, but the bad directors could kill the story. So I am so particular about all those things.
Okay, as someone who's been in Nollywood for a while, you know what professionalism is from mediocrity. Would you say Nollywood is doing tremendously well at 20?
Yeah, Nollywood, we are on a turning point right now. In every business, a business could start up, and after a particular time, it gets to a turning point. So we are at the turning point. At this point, the business is going to be better, but it's going to filter some people that are not worthy to be in the system down. Then after that, it will be a better business.
Hello, Halvi.
I'm doing fine, thank you.
You speak with so much confidence and sophistication.
Well, by the time you get my age and you have the opportunity to come to Nigeria, one should speak with confidence and with energy. This is a very exciting moment with the 10 years of AMAA.
Beautiful. I'd love to know, how old are you?
I am 67 years of age.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Apparently, you haven't been in Nigeria for too long, or you were here in Nigeria and then you left after a while.
No, I'm actually not Nigerian. I'm African American. I'm from the United States of America. I'm from Washington, D.C.
Nice to meet you.
And I've come on 2 or 3 occasions for the AMAA Awards. I've done some support consultation with AMAA, and Danny Glover and I do a lot of cultural and activism work around the world. So I'm really pleased to be back for this 10th year anniversary to see what starts with the next 10 years.
Okay, but more or less, I'd say, fine, you're in Nigeria. Yes. So when you're in Rome, you behave like a Roman. Okay, it's the African Movie Academy Awards for 2014. AMAA is upping its ante. I mean, coming up with different initiatives by the day. AMAA has thrived over 10 years and they're still waxing strong. One or two comments from me about AMAA. Away from the awards, they're launching a book. I mean, it's so away from the norm.
Well, this is a very, very important development, that Africans bringing their own imaginations, their own stories, talking to their people, disseminating that throughout the world, because Nigerians, for example, are everywhere in the world, but so are Africans. If you go into Europe, I'll be in Spain next week of Afro Madrid 2015. I will see African citizens and African immigrants all over Europe. And so AMAA is bringing the imagination of Africa not only to Africa and the diaspora, but to the world. And this 10th anniversary represents a transition moment in which I think Danny Glover tonight my friend from the United States, will talk about the next stage of institutionalization of AMAA. So we're very excited from the diaspora of how to complement this process going on in Mother Africa, but emanating particularly from Nigeria.
I remember before I was an actor, my mother hosting a group of women from Nigeria in 1969 at our home. My mother, then the regional president of the National Council of Negro Women, were hosting a group of Nigerian women. She had moved way beyond her own in her thinking and thoughts about her perceptions about Africa. She had moved and was able to embrace not only that relationship of the just newly independent nation and his women, but she was also able to bring them into her own worldview as well. While I thought about that, while I couldn't remember or don't remember exactly, but the idea of her worldview opening up certainly had an enormous impact on me as well. And the fact that Nigeria, which is now the most economically powerful country on the continent, was at the center of that. And fortunately enough, while that's been a part of my dream as well, it's come to fruition over the period of my career, and it's come into full fruition with my engagement and my involvement with the AMAA family and the AMAA Awards as well. Where do we go from here? Where do we take this initiative the next 10 years? How do we now use this brand, the AMAA Awards? And silly, it is a brand. How do we use that brand now to engage and take ownership of it, to engage going beyond the continent itself to the diaspora? And the diaspora is there are very dynamic things happening in the diaspora. We look at countries like Brazil, which 90%, 90 million people in Brazil of African descent and claim to be of African descent. I digest the moments within that framework, post-colonialism, and where we need to go from there. It is now our objective and our imperative that we take the 21st century and make this 21st century our own. A century that's going to be the battle of ideas. A century that's going to be the use of communication, different ways of communicating with each other. A century in which we're going to have to reconstruct the ideas, what we mean about family, about our family connection. That's what this century is going to be. A century where we ask the fundamental questions that we ask all the time. What does it mean to be a human being? What does it mean within this context to be a human being? What is our contribution to the world as we move forward? We right here, the cradle of civilization, right here in Africa, are the ones who are most poised to begin to talk about those issues. To take all of our past and all the dynamics of our past and what we've held on to and how we can sustain ourselves, and now use that as a bridge to build a new future, to be in the leadership of those ideas in the world. The AMAA Award represent that. We talk about South Africa being a part of this. We talk about, as I listen to the names of award winners, they came from Malawi, they came from South Africa, they came from Uganda, they came from Kenya, they came from all over Africa. They were given. We must take this now, use this umbrella that we've built, and take this to another place within the African diaspora.
Right about now, we have one of Nollywood's frontiers, Alex Ekubo, model, actor, multi-award winning. Are you nominated for AMAA?
No, I'm not yet. But hopefully, we're still working, so hopefully.
How would it feel like to have your name on the nominees list for 2015?
I would love it. Are you kidding? It'll be a dream come true. It'll be, and I'll probably just jump out of my skin once that, like, you know what, I've arrived, guys. It's no need. I'll be super excited.
Okay, Alex, you're here for AMAA. It's a book launch put together by AMAA, but an award ceremony, an award itself, it's having a book launch. It's away from the norm. From you, one or two comments?
it's great. I mean, it's AMAA, you know, they're always trying to reinvent and do something different and something new. And you got to realize this is Africa, you know, it's a celebration of African stories and African cinematography, you know, so it's great.
You had Best of Nollywood Awards last year. I think you won in one of the categories, and you were at AMAA's last year. Are you going to be at AMAA's this year?
If they invite me, last year they invited me over, and I had a blast. All expense paid, free for hotels, the flights, and it was really great, you know, meeting with my fellow actors from all over Africa. It was an honor, and I felt honored to get that call. Hopefully, God willing, I get that call again this year. I'll be there in a heartbeat.
Nice outfit. So tell us who you're wearing.
This is designed by Hipsy Couture. You know, it's pretty black tuxedo with great detailing and finishing.
Thelma, for 2014, you're not nominated for AMAAs, but how would you feel if you had your name on the nominees list for 2015?
Like every other actress who feel, everybody will be so honored. I mean, it's what you dream of, and it hasn't happened now. Definitely it's going to happen. All I need to do is keep working harder, and I know definitely before next 2-3 years it should happen.
Tell us about what you're wearing. You're all decked up in black and a touch of gold. Nice.
I don't know, Wofai. Nowadays I just tell people to just get there. I mean, for me and all that. Really, I just decide to wear this. Really, the thing is, you know, I'm always seeing you, Wofai, so you should understand. If it's not the movies we're doing, it's the singing, it's not the studio, then it's. So I really don't know, but this, I told my sister to get a lot of this, some of them. So this is one of them. It's a gown. I really don't know the name of it, but
so it means you styled yourself tonight.
Oh yeah.
Beautiful.
Thank you, Dal.
I hope you enjoy the show.
I know I will. Thank you, Wofai.
Ladies and gentlemen, please permit me to unveil this wonderful gift, our colleague gift, covered by this golden club. I unveil. I would like to make a long speech, but I would like to give you a bit of what I think must have happened to me this year. I sat beside the mother of the author of this book. I watched her very carefully as her daughter mounted on the stage and started talking. She was full of smile and happiness. What a mother. I couldn't help it, but continued watching her. With the eloquence of her daughter talking, confidence in her parents when she was talking, God, to me, looks see the Almighty strongly behind her. I believe you're just starting to achieve what you're supposed to achieve. I've seen a lot of these things happen during my lifetime. I say lifetime because once you're over 70, you become the more or less the next mode. I watched the speeches of our good friend, our invited guest, and the way he aroused the audience. His charm, I thought he was an actor, I never knew he was a film producer. And they used his youthfulness in you. In actual fact, then even to Chris, he looked like his mother. Adamu Mohammed. Very, very nice and handsome person. Your speech consoles a lot of program I say. I'm about to tell a book on myself. I'm going to write in the background because I'm not Christian. But I like to write something that you can act upon does not even chance to put it as actors, but others will learn that. There are dreams that come on their own. There are dreams that really come on his own. I am confident that we have a love. My lady, I knew you were when you were together. You were a banker, and I'm surprised to see that you are now the Director General of and the Minister of Culture. Sorry. What drives you to I don't know. The way your fashion, the way you dress, shows that you have a lot to do for Nigeria, especially in the area of tourism. I think it's very good, in a good position. So I want to work with whatever I'm doing now. And I think that at the same time, I would like to express my sympathy over the death of your uncle. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to take much of your time. Mama, thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Exotic cuisines, high fashion, top celebrities, glamorous events, and much more. Lunchtime will never be the same again, and that's a promise you can take to the bank. Crunch, the hottest lunchtime entertainment show on African television. Weekdays from 12 to 2 p.m. Exclusive to Nigeria. Extremely Nigerian.
Today we're right here at the launch of African Movie Channel, a UK-based TV station that's moved into Nigeria. Yes, our global strides in Nollywood is gradually recognized in the global scene in Africa and beyond. My name is Wofai Samuel, and right about now I'm on the red carpet. I'm going to be talking with lots of Nollywood celebrities, top government officials, businessmen, people who are going to be gracing this occasion. It's wonderful right in here because I would definitely be on point in my interviews. Keep it locked on your one trusted name, Nigeria.
Keep watching Nigeria.
Right now you're watching Nigeria TV
with the beautiful Wofai.
Stay tuned.